See, I'm at Valley Hospital here in Las Vegas. Back like 15 years ago, when I first moved back to Las Vegas from Compton, I was paroled to Compton, and then I lived over in Watts for a bit, Watts, California as well, and then I moved here to Vegas once I got off parole. But see this parking lot right here? When I first came back here 15 years ago, I pulled in right here, and I was parked right there where that truck is, because my car overheated, my Buick Skylark. So I parked facing that way, though, not like this truck is facing. I was facing this street there. That side of the street is UFC hospital. See, that's where most of the gunshot victims go. UFC right there, because it specializes in gunshot wound trauma. So I'm looking out towards the street because I'm waiting for my car to stop overheating, because steam was coming out, so I could put the water in. I had some water in the trunk, and because I was already starting to have problems with the radiator. So as I'm walking over this way, as I'm parked here looking out this way, three people are walking in the middle of the street right here, going towards the hospital, I guess. There was a female in the middle and two males, youngsters at her side. So I'm right here parked facing the street once again, right here where the truck is, more or less. Probably like right here somewhere, or over here, a little over here more. I was parked right here. So I'm looking at the three people walking from right here. There were three of them walking in the middle of the street. Three of them walking, like I said. And I was looking at them. And then, because, it was 2 a.m. in the morning. I just went to eat at Del Taco. I woke up hungry, so I went to get some tacos at Del Taco, which is right down the street over here behind the hospital. So that's where my car, pulling out of there, started overheating. And I guess over here, like where my van is parked, maybe, or over here closer, was another car parked. I remember seeing it, but I didn't know anybody was in it. So as the kids are walking up, they get about like right there. I see this dude out of the corner of my eye walk out to the street right here. He walks out into the middle of the street and he shoots the two boys, not the girl. He didn't shoot the girl, he shot the two boys, and they took off running. They were falling. Getting up, they ran into that parking lot over there, and then they fell out. The girl was helping both of them. And then I guess she found out they were running the wrong way because UMC's over there. So that's when she said, whoa, wait a minute, and picked them both up as best she could and started walking them this way. But then they collapsed again right there. He shot them like probably the whole clip, 15 rounds, like probably 7 rounds, 8 rounds one, 7 rounds the other. You could actually fit 15 in the clip and 1 in the chamber. So he might have had 16 rounds in it. It's recommended to just put 15 so they don't jam, but you could put 16 if you want. 1 in the chamber once again. So 1 up on top, and 15 in the clip. That's what I used to do when I packed the gun. I had 15 in the clip and 1 on top at all times, ready for action. So anyway, after he shoots them, he walks out in the middle of the street, and he looks at what he did. Oh, so I forgot to show you guys that part. So after he shoots both of them, he lets the girl live. He's like right over here that night 15 years ago. I'll never forget, because I'm used to seeing that kind of stuff growing up in the LB. It's a war zone, Long Beach. Anybody will tell you from Cali, that's a freaking straight war zone. They go at it with the Cambodians, the Crips. They go at it with Samoans, Islanders from Guam. They go at it with anything that's gang related, that's not part of Longo, which is, the Crips and the Samoans, the Sons of Samoa, and all those other gangs that they go at it with. Tiny Rascal Gang, Cambodian, Vietnamese, Asian boys. So after he shoots them right here, he walks up and he sees me in the car parked right there, and he's staring me down. The kid, I'll never forget, he was a tall, slender kid. He looked right at me and he saw the tattoos. I always wear short sleeve because it's hot out here. He looked at my tattoos on both arms. I could see he looked at one arm, he looked at the other, and he nodded his head. I thought he was gonna shoot me too because I was a witness, but he let me live. I didn't have nothing because I gave up carrying a gun a long time ago. He walked over here. I remember looking in the corner of my eye and seeing him get back into the car, and they drove off. They took off that way. So I couldn't move because my car was overheated. So as I'm parked right there next to where the truck is, I see a helicopter. They're putting the light on me because there's cameras in here. I guess security didn't want to get involved because they're not armed at the hospital. Across over there they are, because that's a county hospital. They have inmates over there from the jail and stuff. So as I'm parked there, the helicopter shines the light down on me because, like I said, it was just 2 cars at 2 a.m. in this parking lot. None of these cars were here at that time. Just my car right there and the car that was parked right here. So they were looking at, I guess they thought that the kids were going to go that way, walk from that way, because that's where, I'll tell you in a minute why they thought they would be over that way at UMC. So there's a spotlight on my car right there, and he's circling my car with the spotlight on. He could see me through the front of my mirror. He spotted me through my front windshield. So he kept the light on me. And then all of a sudden, right there in the middle of the street, the Metros pull up, the Las Vegas Metros, and they got me at AR-15 point, at gunpoint. The gun is pointed at my chest, and it's bouncing up and down on my chest, the red beam, from the I guess they call it tracer. No, not tracer. That's the bullet. I guess it's called a laser beam. Laser sight. They had me in laser sight. So they had it pointed to my chest, and I can see it bouncing up and down on my chest right here. It's bouncing up and down on my chest, and because they were nervous because they didn't know if I was armed, and they're on the loudspeaker. One other officer has me at gunpoint too, but he's talking from behind the door of his vehicle, and he's on his microphone saying, "Get out of the car, put your hands behind your head." I did exactly as they asked me. Turn around, walk back towards us. And I was walking back. They jumped the little wall right there, and they told me, "Get on your knees." I did exactly as they told me. Cross your legs. And then that's when security from this hospital right here came out and walked up and said, "We saw it all on camera. He didn't have anything to do with the shooting." And so that's when the cops said okay, and they lowered their weapons and they apologized. They said, "We had just been in a shootout on the strip with 2 different gangs, Crips and Bloods. We're at a concert and they got into a shootout, and they Bloods shot a Crip, and he's over there across the street, and that's why those kids were coming from. They've heard their partner was over here, and they were coming to see him, I guess, to see if he lived or not. And they were walking from that way. That's where the strip is. And they were walking towards UMC, and that's when I guess this guy over here was one of the Bloods that shot the Crip. And when the visitors were walking up, the kid and the two kids and the girl, he ran out in the street. He knew that they would be coming here because this is where their homeboy was at after that strip shooting. That's why the officer was so nervous. That's why, because they had just got into a shootout with him. After they shot and killed the Crip, they shot a few other people. The responding officers got into a shootout with them. And so he told me that's why they had me at gunpoint the way they did, because they didn't know if I was part of that crowd. And anyway, so afterwards, they just they told me wait till your car, cools down, and then just leave. So I got in my car and left, and that's my story.